Welcome, my friends. Welcome to the morning show on Mark Inspires. I was walking down the road today, looking for another way to ease my mind and help my living. To ease my mind and help my living. This should be our goal every day, fam. You want to go out there and find a way to ease your mind and help your living. Welcome. This is the longest running daily variety show on the planet. I've been here for 1,842 days in a row, trying to connect with you and see if we could break away from the negativity of this world for a little while. We talk about anything and everything. I'm a celebrity impressionist. I'm a songwriter. I write songs live in the moment, and I'm an inventor. I invented the only drum in the world for guitar players. It's called the BeatSeat, and you can check it out at beatseat.rocks. It's the only drum in the world that allows you to play your guitar and kick it at the same time, and it sounds like a drum kit. If you don't have a guitar in your hand, it's the only drum in the world you can play with your hands and feet at the same time while sitting completely upright. It's also a powerful sensory therapy drum, so if you know anybody with autism, they need a BeatSeat. It's so amazing. I play it every single day, usually on the night shows. During the morning, we do the news. We talk about what's going on in the world. And right now, I'm home, my kids are in the house, and it's a snow day. Last night started snowing. I don't think it's a lot of snow. It's like 1.5 inches, 2 inches, but it's enough for them to cancel school here in Connecticut. So I wanted to quickly go over just what are we seeing in the U.S. right now. Apparently there's an Arctic blast. It is about 24 degrees, so it is cold here. I know other parts of the country, Minnesota, for example, S-Coop, one of our family members here, said it was like negative 30 the other night. So we're dealing with some serious weather issues here in the United States. I happen to see that Putin shut off the power for something like 22 million of his citizens, and it's like 20 below in Russia. So there's a lot of weird stuff going around the world right now. But let's get into what we're dealing with in the United States. I'm going to do a quick overview of the snowstorm report, whatever it is. I got about 4 or 5 great news stories for you guys, so don't go anywhere. And then, of course, we're going to see if we can take a couple call-ins. This is a call-in show as well, so if you do want to call in, it's 203-903-0022. Should be up on the screen, at least on YouTube. So head over there if you want to. Here we go. Let's pop this up, at least so we can see what's happening with these winter storm updates. I'll throw this on the screen here on YouTube so you guys can see it. I got this heater on over here because it's freezing, but now it's getting hot. Let's do a little switch. So let's pop this up on the screen here so you guys can take a look with me. So we have winter storm live updates. Arctic blast continues, freezing conditions across the United States. Wind chills taking the temperatures to below minus 30 could extend into the south, reaching the Mississippi Valley. What to know about winter weather? More than 140 million people have been placed under wind chill advisories or warnings. Authorities are warning people to stay inside and travel with caution. Almost 80% of the U.S. is experiencing sub-zero temperatures. Schools across the country are closed today as a result. At least 7 people are known to have died as a result of the cold weather, with several other suspected deaths. Wind chills are taking the temperatures to below minus 30, and that could extend as far south as the Mississippi Valley, as we discussed. Telephone game in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Guys, YouTube it. Link in the bio. Wind chills are taking temperatures real low. Freezing conditions should alleviate tomorrow, but yet another blast of cold Arctic air is expected later this week. The National Weather Service is warning every American. More than 1,000 flights across the United States were canceled today, and almost 1,300 flights. Airports across the country struggle with snow and icy conditions. There are more than 11,000 delays, according to the flight tracking website FlightAware. Boston Logan International Airport is facing delays as it de-ices departing planes, while others are delayed at New York's John F. Kennedy Airport, which has received more than 1 inch of snow in the last 24 hours. Again, it's 1 inch, guys. Yeah, I know it's cold, though. Anyway, Baltimore Washington International Airport ordered a ground stop this morning, while New York's LaGuardia Airport ordered a ground delay because of snow and ice. Not sure if you guys know this about LaGuardia. It is the shortest runway. So it's actually like, if it's going to be snowing, that's like the one you don't want to be flying into or out of, I think. I don't know. Very short runway there at LaGuardia. Firefighters rescued dog who fell into an icy pond in Utah. That's a feel-good story. A dog named Bob found himself stuck in an icy pond near the suburbs of Salt Lake City. And the firefighters were able to lift the canines to safety. Officials used the opportunity to remind people to be extra careful with children and pets around ponds and other bodies of water this winter. New York City gets its biggest snowfall in almost 2 years. Let's hear about it, guys. New York City's 701-day stretch without any significant snowfall is over. Is it? Because they got 1.4 inches, guys. Is that significant? They got 1.4 inches on the ground in Central Park this morning, ending the snowless streak that goes back to February 2022. According to the Weather Service, more snow is expected today, making travel conditions hazardous. The streak has ended, the agency said in the post on X after 7 a.m. How is that? 1.4 inches. That's not significant. All right, I don't know. You guys tell me if you think that's a significant amount of snowfall. But New York City's like classic for blowing everything out of proportion, including what they consider to be significant snowfall. 1.4 inches, people. Since midnight, 1 inch. That's significant. Oh, goodness. Okay, lake effect snow set to dump more than 2 feet on New York. Not on New York City, by the way. That's just 1.4 inches. More than 2 feet of lake effect snow could land in the next 2 days, east of and northeast of Lakes Erie and Ontario. Thank you so much for the love over here on TikTok. You are amazing. Oh, goodness. If you can, YouTube is where we are, trying to see if we can build it out. Thunderbird signs Diana. So good to see you. Let's see. She says it's 40 below. Wow. Okay, 40 below Celsius is same as Fahrenheit. We had a week of 40 below wind chill. That is unbelievable. Alberta, Canada. Thunderbird's out in Alberta. Telephone Game said, hey, buddy, it's in the 70s over here in Phoenix, Arizona, if you guys want to come and hang out with us in Phoenix. You know, Telephone, I may be swinging out there. I don't like this cold weather. Because yesterday it was freezing. We went out to grab a bite, and I had my wife and the kids stay in the car because it was, you know, look, it's okay if it's 20-something degrees and you're bundled, but when it's 20-something degrees, it's bundled, and then there's like a 15-mile-an-hour constant wind. That is the sickest thing in the world, guys. I'm standing in this line. It's Pepe's Pizza. If you guys don't know anything about Pepe's Pizza, you happen to be in New Haven, Connecticut, and you go to Pepe's Pizza, you're standing in line to go get in. It's world-famous pizza place. Used to be an old story that Frank Sinatra would have pizza flown out to him in California from Pepe's. That's how good this pizza place is. So I'm standing in this long line, and I got to tell you, it was so cold. I had gloves on. I had my jacket up. I had a hat over, like the hood over, zipped that thing, and still you could feel this nonstop wind coming at you. And like, I get it. Sometimes you get a little breeze, then it stops, and then a little breeze. This was constant. I could not believe it. It was just for like 15 minutes while I'm sitting, 20 minutes, I'm sitting in that line. I got through it, but I got to tell you, that was crazy. And then I'm seeing right in front of me, I don't even know, these kids were probably in their 20s. Dude had like the thinnest jacket on, didn't have a scarf, no gloves, and he's with his buddy who's wearing like an Adidas pullover, like workout gear. And I'm like, how are these two dudes standing here not freezing their faces off? They really earned their pizza yesterday, those two. But yeah, in general, guys, please be warm. Take care of yourself. This is crazy, crazy temperature, and we're not built for it. We're not built for negative 30. We're not built for wind chills that continue like that. Our bodies can't handle it. And it's also very, very interesting when you talk about how this climate changing, you know, global warming, whatever you want to call it. When you think about the difference in the lowest temperatures on Earth to the hottest temperatures on Earth, when you're talking about, I don't even know where the hottest, somewhere in the desert, I assume. You got like 130, 140 degrees. You know, they're talking about such a difference. How do you justify that there's any sort of change or climate change taking place when you can't even figure out where it's supposed to be? Like, how do you figure that out? It's negative 40 degrees here and it's 145 degrees here in you know, the middle of the deserts. Like, that's a range, man. That is a range. So it's definitely freaky. You have to find a location on Earth you can tolerate. I think Telephone Game may be in the right place. You know, head out to Arizona, guys, where it's like 80 degrees, 70, 80 degrees. Let's see what else we have here. Event snowfall. You can see here, not a lot. Although if you do move up the line there, you get closer towards the Great Lakes. You see 18 to 24 inches. But down, you know, talking about middle of New York, 1 to 2 inches, you know. We're not talking about a lot here. That's Buffalo that they were showing us. Texans across Arkansas set a new low temperature record. North Little Rock, among towns and cities across Arkansas, set a new record for low temperatures yesterday. 6 degrees Fahrenheit, guys, in Arkansas. That's pretty crazy. So anyway, that's what's going on right now. A little bit crazy with this weather. Hopefully you guys can stay warm, get through this. Let's see what else we have for the news today. I had a few stories I thought were interesting. Now this one is interesting because we all are dealing with, this is one of the most disgusting and heartbreaking diseases to ever see anybody deal with. Alzheimer's. And it doesn't seem like they could figure out how to help people with Alzheimer's. You know, Vivek Ramaswamy attempted to create a drug that would help people with Alzheimer's. It failed, but he tried. And what we have here is this, it's like the brain dies. And there's nothing that could be done because there's this gray area in your brain that continues. And I was talking to you guys about this last night. Like, it's vitally important that you fall asleep before midnight so your brain can clear itself out. You need REM sleep for this. I wasn't really aware of that. And for about 5 years, I've been beating the hell out of my brain by putting on this ridiculously long streak of 1,842 days. But I'm going to be very careful about that going forward. I'm going to try my best to do the morning show and see if I can get on early enough at night so I could wrap it and get in bed by 11:15, 11:30 and get some sleep. We have to protect our brains, guys. As we get older, it just gets worse. You start having a hard time finding the words you're thinking about, or you're in the middle of a story and you want to express yourself and you just can't find exactly what you want to say. And I've had that happen randomly in the middle of a show before, and I'm like, man, why can't I think of that word I've thought of a million times before? It's because my brain is tired. It's because I'm always pushing to try to bring you guys something. And I don't have to, because clearly we don't have 1 million people watching me every day, so I shouldn't beat the hell out of myself in the process. So I'm going to be very careful with my own health going forward here. But I wanted to tell you guys, the new Alzheimer's treatment accelerates removal of plaque from the brain in clinical trials. And this is really, really exciting news for anybody who's dealing with this, has a family member dealing with Alzheimer's, or hopefully somebody who's right at the beginning and they're understanding that there's an issue. This could be a solution, hopefully. Let's see what it has to say. I'm going to pop this one up on the screen for you and see if I can read the story for you straight. Here we go. A new Alzheimer's therapy has shown potential in first human trials. Researchers at West Virginia University Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute found that by pairing focused ultrasound in combination with antibody therapies, they were able to accelerate removal of amyloid beta plaques from the brain of patients with Alzheimer's disease. This is massive news, guys. The study finding was published in the New England Journal of Medicine on January 11th. An abnormal buildup of amyloid beta proteins is one of the hallmarks of Alzheimer's, as these proteins clump together to form plaques that interfere with neurons in the brain. Anti-amyloid beta monoclonal antibody treatments such as aducanumab, I don't know how the hell to say that one, guys. Aducanumab and lecanemab. What the freaking hell are with these stupid scientific names, Joanne? Such as aducanumab and lecanemab have proven to be effective in clearing these plaques and showing disease progression. But until now, the drugs have been limited by the blood-brain barrier. This is interesting. It's designed to keep harmful substances from reaching the brain, and 98% of drugs are blocked by the brain barrier, which means patients require higher doses and more frequent therapies. In this study, the scientists used focused ultrasound system FUS to temporarily open the blood-brain barrier, which allowed the antibodies to have greater access to areas of the brain with high amyloid beta plaques. After 6 months of antibody treatments, the study participants had an average of 32% more reduction in amyloid beta plaques in areas where the BBB was opened, blood-brain barrier was opened, compared to areas where the drug was used without ultrasound. This is the first in human safety and feasibility study with 3 participants demonstrating that the BBB opening can accelerate clearance of beta amyloid plaques. Non-invasive focused ultrasound is an outpatient procedure that allows for targeted delivery of therapeutics to the brain that can potentially accelerate the benefit of the antibody treatment in Alzheimer's disease. 3 patients between the ages of 59 and 77 all had mild Alzheimer's disease. During the study, they received 6 monthly infusions of aducanumab. Again, I can't say that. I have no idea what that is. After each treatment, the focused ultrasound was used to open the blood-brain barrier at the sites of the highest plaque buildup. While there are some potential risks associated with ultrasound use, such as brain swelling and hemorrhage, Rezai said those effects were not observed in this study. We verified with MRI scans that the BBB opening was temporary and it closed 24 to 48 hours after the FUS procedure. Reductions in amyloid plaques were verified in PET scans. This was the first step towards larger studies, and those researchers will be able to evaluate more patients in larger areas of the brain. In the next phase of clinical trial, the ultrasound therapy will be paired with lecanemab, another anti-beta amyloid antibody. Guys, someone's got to come up with better names, for these things. Dr. James Galvin, director of the Comprehensive Center for Brain Health at UHealth, the University of Miami Health System, was not involved in the WVU research but shared his reaction. A study like this is important because it demonstrates that there may be safe ways to increase drug delivery to the brain without any serious adverse effects. Dementia's staggering financial cost is revealed in a new report. It bankrupts families. That's freaking insane that this is what we have in our world, these types of brain defeating diseases. Focused ultrasound has been used in other treatments for brain diseases like Parkinson's disease, and brain tumors. Galvin also cautioned that this research was conducted with only 3 patients and was not a placebo-controlled study. When people are sick and dying, why do you even give them a placebo? Just give them the drug. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But to be like, we gave you the drug. Well, it was just salt water. It's just, I don't get it. I understand for science, we got to determine, but sometimes it's the belief. And maybe that's the point. If you could take something that's not really the drug, and you could find that you can heal yourself with the mind. I don't know. Anyway, getting therapeutics across the barrier from the bloodstream into the brain tissue is a challenge for any drug used to treat brain diseases, including drugs that treat Alzheimer's disease. What I know to date, guys, is there's not been any treatment that works for people with Alzheimer's. It is the most destructive, and it's a terrible thing to watch someone that you love that just cannot connect anymore. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Make sure you're aware of everything that's going on in the health front. I think it's interesting stuff. This is story 2, I guess, of the day. I got a bunch of them for you. Let's see if I can get to it. It's hot. Joanne, can you keep the heat at a normal level? Oof. All right, what do we got here? This was the other one that's kind of weird, but what the hell, We're here to have some fun and talk things out. This is weird. Okay, guys, OnlyFans model accused in Miami. Hold on, let me see if I can fix this screen. Okay. OnlyFans model accused in Miami murder, pictured with taped knuckles, bloody elbow after video meltdown. You can see on the screen she's freaking out on her boyfriend at the time, who she ended up murdering, stabbing him to death. This chick is totally freaking nuts. Look. Okay, let's be honest. They always say that hot chicks are crazy. This freaking crazy. She's out of her mind, nuts, stupid. She's freaking out at him, claiming he's hitting on girls, all this weird stuff. It's amazing to me when beautiful people are so insecure. Now, beautiful is a surface, that's a surface thing. She's not beautiful, because anybody who acts like this is a horrible human being. Murderer, So anyway, I don't know if I really need to get into it much, but an industry colleague present during a photo shoot in Aspen, Colorado, where OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny was seen berating her late lover, Christian Ombaselli, and pummeling him. Says friends, she tried to repeatedly get the couple help before she fatally stabbed him in April of 2022. In a newly unveiled video, Clenny, known online as Courtney Taylor, was filmed during a group trip to the Rocky Mountain ski town during February 2022. In it, Clenny screamed profanities at Ombaselli, calling him a boy and a bitch, motherfucking H, you know what I mean? While swinging her hand at his face and upper body. Christian was a very large guy, and he could have easily done damage if he wanted to, but he never fought back. Well, unfortunately, he lost his life because he didn't fight back. And this chick right here, nuts, Guys, just Nobody's hot enough to get stabbed over, okay? I'm sorry. Just figure that one out. Oh, my goodness. What a world. Is there anything else we could talk about today? Any other news stories? I thought I had another one. I just can't find it now. We had the winter news story, which was, I think, a pretty good update, you know? I guess that's basically it. Let me see if we have anything else that could pop up real quick. This is the snowstorm report. I'm sure you guys saw that yesterday the Iowa caucus took place and Donald Trump won. It's like, it's interesting because it gives a little bit more weight to, I was always wondering why the last election anybody voted for a guy who was in his basement the whole time. Like, I was like, guy never left his basement and he got 81 million votes. Like, what? That doesn't even make sense. But Trump didn't campaign. I mean, he did. He went out and rallied, but he didn't go and do any of the traditional, get up in front of, the panel and answer all these questions against Vivek and against Chris Christie and Nikki Haley. He just decided to skip all of the debates and still got something like 54%. I don't know. It was a big number. So I'm not sure what you guys think about this election that's coming up, but I really wish we had two fresh choices to work with here. I think our current president is, he should have heard the story about Alzheimer's. He should be watching that one because I think there's something wrong there. There's a saying, when people start shuffling, it's no good. And that dude's been shuffling for a few years now. But then, Trump's like 80 years old. Like, we don't need people that are at the tail end. We need fresh blood. We need someone who's going to reinvigorate some energy into this country that's positive. And we're really looking for a connector, not a divider. And I think that all cases I've seen so far, it's like all these dividers. And I know he has no shot, but I do have to say that guy Vivek is brilliant. He's a very bright guy. I hear him speak and I'm like, yeah, he's saying a lot of right things. And what is he, 40? How old is Vivek Ramaswamy? He's got no shot. But I'm just saying, we need young blood. We need someone who's going to take the torch and be in their 40s or 50s and think about what a younger generation wants for this country. These people that are 70, 80 years old, they are well beyond where they should be running a country, first of all. And then they don't think like young people. They don't have the mentality to bring us forward into the next generation. They live in the past. It reminded me when I got my real estate license, and I'm up against all these women who are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they think old school. They think, let me get the book and go through it and find the property. I'm like, no, this is the internet age. I remember when I got into real estate, the internet had just become a massive thing. The MLS was now coming from books. You used to literally go and look through books, and you'd have to find a property by looking through this book page by page. Oh, this one looks good. And it was, I wasn't a part of that. That was not my world. When I came in there, we already were online. I went onto my MLS and I could search right there from the internet. But a lot of these friends of mine had all their moms had their real estate license in my town. And so I'd be working with these people. I'm like friends with their kids, and now I'm working with their moms when I was, 28 years old when I got my license. And again, this mentality of thinking in the 80s or thinking in the 90s how you used to sell real estate, I thought was a huge advantage for me. I'm the young guy who's thinking big. I'm thinking about creating videos for my clients and getting a drone to provide the greatest possible view of my property, expansive views, get people to look at the second photos. These people were still thinking, I wonder if I can get a copy of the book. I swear I had a few people that were still buying the book after we were online. Those people did very well because I think in general, nobody really gives a shit. They're like, oh, I'm going to call my friend Joan. Like, Joan's 94, and she's going to go open a book, try to sell your property. But I don't care. It's weird. They're less interested in finding the best agent instead of just finding an agent. They're like, oh, I know this person, I'll use them. I'm like, well, what does that person bring to the table for you? Are they doing anything to amplify your opportunity to sell at a higher value? Can they negotiate on your behalf? These are questions you have to ask yourself when you're meeting somebody. When I sit across from a new seller and we're having a conversation, I hope they press me and figure out, what kind of negotiator is this guy? How much is he going to stand for his own value? How much will he stand for my value? And these are questions that you start to understand. Like, this, when you meet people, right away you have an idea of who you're dealing with. You get a good feeling of what this person has to offer across from you. And is it someone you want to be around again? Is this somebody you could work with? For me, real estate's always been, can you relate with the person you're sitting across from? You got to be able to relate and connect with people. And so, does anybody have any questions about real estate, about anything else? Berta Allen, how are you? Oh, my goodness. Berta Allen's over on Facebook. Sometimes we get a note on Facebook, which is pretty cool. Doesn't happen that often. Guys, I have to shut that heater off. Hold on a second. Oh. Woo. I'll tell you, it got hot. Vivek suspended his campaign. Yeah, I figured that was going to happen. You know, it's 38 and think. Yeah, I liked the way that guy spoke. He had no shot, but I liked the way he spoke, and he was speaking right directly to the American people. His policies would have probably been very similar to what we had last time around, which was great for America. And somebody who, had some fire in his belly, but you can't, I don't know. It's really weird. I honestly think of all the people that were out there, he was the one who had the most potential because he was standing up and saying what was right. And it's funny because at the beginning I was like, DeSantis would be a great option for the Republican Party. Who do we have for the Democrat Party? I don't even know. I don't think there's anybody who's stepping up. They still are hoping Sleep Sofa Joe doesn't go completely brain dead between now and November, but he's already brain dead. I don't know why the hell they're doing this. It's a really weird to see how much they pretend that this is normal. If Donald Trump was acting like that dude did for the last 4 years, that's all you'd hear about in the news, is how he's brain dead. Donald Trump is brain dead. Do you see him fall up the stairs and then down the stairs, then up the stairs again? Like, it's all you would hear about. And that his son's a crackhead and did business with only our enemies. Still can't get over that one. Everybody wants to pretend, well, there's no proof that there's any corruption. I'm like, guys, he didn't deal with England. He didn't deal with France, with Canada. He was dealing with our enemies. If you could seriously, with a straight face, look at anybody and say, there's no proof of corruption, when the facts are the current president's son was dealing with foreign actors and with enemies of the United States, not with our allies. I would have no problem with this dude if you told me he was also at the same time doing business with every other ally of ours in the world. But he wasn't. He was only doing business with the shady motherfuckers out there. And you start seeing text messages and you start seeing things that were going back to the big guy. And if you seriously, again, want this guy to be we are only involved in Ukraine because they have something on this guy. It has to be. It has to be. There's so much corruption in Ukraine. All that money went in and went right back out to all of our arms manufacturers here in the United States. There's no benefit to this except for destroying our country in the process of destroying the world. Scary, scary stuff. And I fear our homeland here, guys. It doesn't seem like anyone's protecting our homeland. So I'm not sure what we do about that. And there could just be people setting themselves up for some moment where they do something that's really, really scary for us. And we were always so concerned about who came into our country until this last administration. Now it's just like they don't give a shit at all. Like, guys, you're racist and xenophobe for not wanting illegals to come into your country. I'm like, it's so stupid. If you go back and watch video of this same party 10 years ago, it'd say we have to know who's coming through our border. But now, because Trump said it, it's like we have to do the opposite. We have to do the opposite of what the last guy said. And it's just like, yeah, but the opposite is like evil and wrong. Like, let's allow anybody and everybody in. If they come and break your door down and you try to protect yourself, you go to jail. And by the way, if you run out of money in this world, this economy we're living in, screw you. You lose your house, you lose everything. But if you come across the border, we'll give you money, we'll give you lodging. It's like everything is backwards. Nothing makes sense. You should be taking care of your citizens and not people who don't deserve to be here. And again, everybody has the right to make their way into our country. You just have to do it legally, okay? I've never seen anybody on any side of the aisle that said, we don't want immigrants. It's the stupidest. It's like that's the fight. They try to say that people don't want immigrants. We're all immigrants. We just came in legally. My grandfather, his name is on Ellis Island wall because he didn't just sneak into the country. He came in legally. We knew who he was. Oh, Francisco Pires coming from Portugal. Okay, you're on the freaking wall. And again, not everybody can, but this is ridiculous. You have complete nations walking across our border, and we're like, we need voters. And the weird thing is they'll let them vote because they don't want any ID. Like, you have to think the corruption that goes involved when you say as a political party that you don't want people to be ID'd because they don't know how to get ID. Oh, it's a racial thing because black people don't know how to get ID. If you ask any black person that same, narrative, hey, they're doing this because they don't think you guys are able to go out and get ID. They're all like, that's so offensive. I have an ID. They all have IDs, but they use the race card for all types of division, including that we don't want them to vote because they can't get an ID. It's the stupidest argument in the world, and Democrats should all be held accountable for these lies. And I'm not saying that the Republicans don't have flaws. They are very flawed. Both parties, I believe, kind of work together against us. Like, they pretend that they're like fighting each other, but really they work together because nothing is beneficial for anybody. If you look at it, they have this graph on what the nation wants and what politicians actually accomplish. And we got dropped off like here. This is what they do. They go for what the elites want. Both parties, they aim and they secure things that the elites want, not what the American people want. We are not the focus. They absolutely don't do anything to help us. And that's both sides of the track. So you should not like Democrats or Republicans because they're not doing anything to help us. I don't even know who. That's why I honestly think that's why Trump was so popular, because he's a guy who was like, I'm for America. I'm going to make sure that Americans do well. And we're going to institute these new policies, which seem to be very, very strong for Americans. And whether or not people want to say that it rings from 50, 60 years ago, I still don't understand how anybody can compare Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. I think it's a stupid comparison. And regardless of words, because someone say, oh, well, Trump said exact things that Hitler said. I don't know what he said that's exact, but I can guarantee you that Joe Biden said things that you could probably tie to Hitler as well. It's ridiculous. Everything that people say can go back and you could tie it to somebody else. The point is there really someone in this timeline, in this moment right now, that's Hitler? No. There was only one Hitler, and he was evil. There are evil people in this timeline that we're living right now, this moment. We have to find them, and we have to root them out. But it's definitely not a guy who, in the 4 years he was in office, didn't start any new wars and didn't genocide. So I don't understand. You can't say that. It's just a freaking, it's actually offensive to hear the newscasters all say that. It's offensive. For anybody that I know that's Jewish who had to actually deal with that man, to hear them calling someone running for president Hitler is like, again, 4 years, he didn't genocide. So I don't think he's the best choice. I don't know who the best choice is, but we need younger blood. I'm telling you, we need younger blood. This country stays divided with Joe Biden. This country stays divided with Donald Trump. If we really want to come back together, we have to take somebody else. And I know I love doing my Donald Trump impression, but I think his policies were phenomenal for this country. But we are a country that's been led by hate, and it's been a 5-year swamp-led inquisition of a man who said he was going to drain it. Basically, that's all this has been. You never tell your enemy you're coming for them. And that's unfortunately what Donald Trump did. And since then, they've just done nothing but swamp him with lies and calling him Hitler and all this stuff. Like, he is such a threat to to what they want for our future. And I think that's why they need him to not get in. 2030 is like 5-6 years away, guys. And they have plans for this world that involve us being reduced in population and controlled into cities. Nobody gets to live outside in the country anymore. These things don't happen if Donald Trump becomes president. He won't allow it. He doesn't want the tyrants to destroy our world like they plan on doing. That's why if you go back and you watch, he went to Davos and he spoke at the World Economic Forum when he first became president. It was so controversial because he went against everything that they're pushing. Everything. And if you go watch that video, that's when they decided to take him down. Because he didn't come in there and say, yeah, you know what, you guys, you world elites, you guys have it right. We're going to do what you want. He's like, no, we're America, blah, blah, blah. We're going to take out all of our enemies. And all the stuff he said was counter to the entire messaging at Davos and the NWO. That's what I really feel like it is, actually, Oh, goodness. Too much going on in the world, guys. Yeah. Helen said, the so-called devil's advocate Biden is a liar and traitor to our country. Do any of you really believe he cares about our country? Hell no, he doesn't. why in the hell do you think he is trying to get our true president, Donald Trump, in jail? Because Trump is a threat to him. So true. I mean, this is like you're weaponizing the Justice Department against your enemy. That's not election interference. And if you look at what they're charging him with, they're not charging him with insurrection, guys. Go and look. He's not charged with insurrection because you can't. He didn't insurrect. Like it's amazing how, if you watch the speech right before that all went down, he said, "I know you're going to go and have your voices peacefully heard at the Capitol." Like, I'm not sure, but once you say that, I don't understand how you could ever pretend it's anything more than people just acting like idiots. You can't blame a man after he says, "I know you're going to go and have your voices peacefully heard at the Capitol." And then he sent an X out, a tweet, like right after it happened, saying, "Guys, this isn't us. We're not the party of this. We're the party of peace and conversation and debate." And they pulled it down on X. And he joked. He goes, I think they took it down because it was so good." But he's got it. He's got a copy of it. And you can go to like a time machine thing on X and you can pull up things that have been erased. And so you go to court and you show that he said, "Guys, we're not the party that does this." And he said, "I know you're going to go have your voices peacefully heard at the Capitol." Like, I'm sorry, everything you're hearing is a fucking lie. When you heard the president say those things, then everything they say beyond that is a lie. It's gaslighting. These people gaslight us every day of our lives. It's mental. And the worst part about it is so many of us believe it. So many Americans believe the lies that they're told. They're not able to break away. And Obama is the one who instituted this propaganda on American people. We were not allowed to receive propaganda from the news until Obama allowed it in 2012. I don't know why the hell. I think I know why. It's because he knew that something was going to... He was such a bad president that he's like, "I got it. We got to do this. We got to start propagandizing the American people to keep our power." Because who are we going to have next? Hillary and then Joe Biden? And he already knew Joe Biden was a freaking mess. So they changed this. Now we are being propagandized on a daily basis, and the lies are so disgusting. And I don't know why. Why is that allowed? Why isn't... And I know Biden won't, but if Trump gets back in, he should institute or take out that executive order or whatever it was that Obama put in there. You can't propagandize the American people. Sorry. If you want to be a news source in America, you got to be honest. There's no honest news anymore. It's baffling to me. You can't even tune into the news and get anything that's like real. It's a specific narrative that's put out there, and whoever is in control of that network is putting out a specific narrative. The days of Walter Cronkite and someone with integrity sitting in front of you, they're over. They're over. You got to find people like me, guys. I'm just saying how it is. And you may not enjoy it. You may not like it. You may say, "I love Trump. I hate Trump. I hate Biden. I love Biden." It doesn't really matter. We're supposed to be here and having conversations about these things. We don't hide the way we feel. That's what they want you to do. And then you're miserable. Let it all out. Let's have a conversation. Who is the best choice? Who is the best choice? Let's talk it out. You know? I'm pretty sure if you look at economy over economy, last one to this one, the last one was much better than this one. And right up until the pandemic, when they decided to change our existence by shutting down governments and forcing people to do things that didn't work, none of it worked. It only destroyed society and created more division. And you have people still walking around outside by themselves with masks. Still. And everybody still got the cove. "Oh, yeah, you did a great job getting rid of that." And I truly believe when you tell people to keep going and getting boosters, you're just creating more variants. That's all you're doing. So this has been just a complete cluster. And the fact that now the WHO is going to take over the world in case of another pandemic blows my mind. They got everything wrong. They were in the pocket of China during the entire pandemic. And now America's going to let them have control over our country, over the American citizens. We have no rights, no freedom. They literally crossed out the entire paragraph that said that they will, that human rights will remain for the American citizens. They crossed it all out. We won't have any human rights when they do this in May. So, guys, no, Helen, I don't think I can get any more backlash from YouTube at all. The last thing they do is just take my channel off the air. Like, they don't let anybody see it. So I don't think that they're going to do anything. I think they keep hoping no one's going to share my show. that there's not somebody big enough out there that shares my show and then people actually see it and then come back tomorrow. That's what YouTube keeps hoping, and they're going to keep holding on to, is look, we've gone 5 years plus where no one knows this guy exists. So let's just keep him where he is in the dark hole. Oh, goodness. Helen said, I've never trusted him. Obama, Bill, and Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi. They all have shown their true colors, especially now that they bow down to the LGBTQ or whatever you call them on our. Yeah, I don't know what they're. I mean, the name keeps changing too. I think it should just be. I don't know. I really want everybody to find their happiness, and so I just don't think you have to change society to find your happiness. You don't have to change everybody's perspective on life in order for you to be happy. You just do it. Just do it. In the 90s, people just were with whoever they wanted to be with. They didn't make a huge deal out of it and get everybody else to change life just because they're different. You're different. Let's be honest. You are different. And that doesn't mean if you're a small group of 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 that you could change the whims of society. It doesn't work that way. You're different. Go be different. Nothing wrong with being different. It's just someone who's different in a small group like this, the minority group, changing the majority is totally mental. It makes no sense at all. It never made sense, and that's why they never allowed it to happen. It's this radical, I don't even know who's in charge, guys. We don't even know who's running the government right now. It's definitely not the president. Oh, Bridget, you rock. I'm so glad you made it over. Guys, Bridget's new with us here on YouTube, found us on TikTok. That makes me very happy, Bridget. I've been live here for 5 years in a row every day, and we do a show most times twice a day. Last night I kind of had like a burnout. I was so tired, and I got to bed before midnight, which is great. And I feel a little better this morning, but I'm wondering if I do this for 4 or 5, 6 days in a row, I may actually start to really get in the groove here. And the perfect world for me was to get on even earlier than this, like drive time in the morning, get through it, get people pumped, and then get into the day and maybe come back later on. But I'm so happy you're here, Bridget. I just wanted to point out that we have to do this together. We have to come together as a people, all colors and creeds. If we join hands and we realize that together we can make a difference in this world, and divided, we just look back and we're the same as everybody else in history. Like, we don't relive history. We don't want to relive history. But if you look back in the 50s, the 60s, 70s, the amount of racism that took place, we graduated. We graduated past that in the 90s. In the 90s, I didn't see any racism at all. I grew up in Connecticut. I told you my best friend was black. I didn't see color. That dude had an amazing energy. Jermaine was amazing. I love Jermaine. I haven't seen him in years, but loved Jermaine. He's my buddy. And I never saw color, ever. Because I saw action. I saw how people treated me as the important thing. I was looking for people that made me feel good. You understand? If somebody made me laugh, somebody made me smile, somebody was supportive of something I was doing, that's what I was looking for. And those people came in all different colors. And there were a lot of white people, you would call them, that I hated. Just rotten human beings. It wasn't because of racism. It's just they were just not good people. There's not good people all across the board here, the spectrum, guys. The key is, regardless of what someone looks like, can we all get on the same page together and say we are here together? We have to accomplish something positive together with this time. I don't want to create stains in this timeline for future generations to come across. We want to keep this clear. We want people to look back and say, geez, those guys had it figured out. They understood that we are all one. If we're the image of God, if we are the image of God, then that means you, me, we're all the image of God. God is a spectrum. He's everything. And we are a part of that. Don't forget the fact that pure light is every color. That's a beautiful thing to keep in mind, that every color here that we are on, we're a part of that spectrum, God's spectrum. We're God's children. There's no child of God that is better than another child of God. There's only one son of God, and then everyone else is a child of God. And you're my equal, no matter who you are. And by the way, you could have $1 billion in your bank account. You're still my equal. You could have 50 cents in your pocket. You are my equal. You could be able to sing the most beautiful aria in the world. You're my equal. You may not be able to walk, but you're my equal. We are together in this. And if we could start opening our hearts and loving each other and understanding that we are each other's equals, there's nobody better than anybody else. Donald Trump was the president of the United States, but he's your equal. We are all exactly the same, fighting to get through this timeline without destroying ourselves and destroying society in the process. So I thank you guys for listening to me when I go into these little rants. I try my best to make it as positive as possible, but sometimes there's so much negativity in this world. It's hard for me to remain positive about the negativity. So I try my best to at least expose the negativity for you. And that to me is being positive. If I expose to you what's really going on in the world and it's a negative thing, it's a negative subject, there's not really much I can do with that to stay positive on that topic. I'm doing my best to eviscerate that topic we're talking about so you guys understand what's really being done on the surface. And this is perspective. This is perspective, guys. 5 years in a row every single day without watching the negatube. I see the negatube turn on. I'm like, no, I have no interest. It pulls you in and then destroys you. Everything there is negative. And it's because if it leads, it bleeds. If it bleeds, it leads. That's the saying in the news. You know, I had an idea a few years back, and obviously I don't know who to talk to about these things, but I wanted my show to be what was the beginning of a 24-hour news or 24-hour positivity channel. And so people can tune in to me for an hour, but then after my show, you have like Tony Robbins and you have like Gary Vee and all these other people that are putting positivity out in the world. And it's 24 hours a day. So you don't have any negativity. It's just, hey, if you want to go in and feel the light, you turn into the Positube, and we're there every day, either me or somebody else, in order to put on a really powerful message of connection. And I just don't know who to speak to about it. Unfortunately, someone will probably do it. I know they'll do it. It's a great idea. I have a lot of really good ideas. If someone out there is a money guy, or somebody out there is able to put ideas into action, I got a million ideas. If you want to make money, I got 1,000 ideas that'll make a ton of money. I just don't know how to do it on my own. I can't do anything. I'm trying. I'm all alone in this studio for 5+ years. I can't build. Trish Killian reminded me, I think we need to find me a manager or a talent agent or something. I don't have any representation. I'm in this room alone for 5 years, and then I'm a real estate agent. So I don't have the contacts. I could put out the best song in the world, but I don't know John Alagia. I don't know Dave Matthews. I don't know anybody. So it's going to take somebody out there on the outside to say, wow, that song was powerful. I'm going to call my record producer friend and see if he wants to meet Mark. Or, wow, that Mark says some really powerful things. He really needs representation. You know, my cousin John happens to be a talent agent. Freaking tell John to call me, because I'm open to it now. This 2024 is the year where I want everything here to explode. I haven't been doing this for nothing. I've been doing this every day, waiting for that explosion. I'm waiting for you guys to take this thing and blow it out of the water, because I'll be back. I'm going to keep showing up. And we know YouTube doesn't want it to happen. Like, I used to love being the one who made things happen when others didn't want it to happen. Oh, you don't want that to succeed? Well, I'm going to go tell everybody about that. I can't wait being the grassroots guy. When people in power try to stop things from taking place, you should be offended, and you should go out of your way to work harder to make it happen. And then you could feel the pride when it does happen. When you see this channel with thousands of people tuning in every day, you could be like, yeah, I did that. I'm the one who made it happen. Because this show deserves to have people. It deserves to have an audience of those open to being lifted up, and those open to hearing the truth, and those open to hearing some music live in the moment and some comedy. So keep spreading the word. I'm here on YouTube every single day. And of course, if I can, I'll do it at night. You know, I try my best to get on both times so we could play a couple songs like we've been doing. This is something, just so you know, I wrote this the other day. Twist and shout. Twist and shout. Let it out. Yep. You twist and shout. Let it all out. Yeah, you gotta twist and shout. Yeah, you gotta get it out. Oh, yeah. Just a little funk vibe. And then we did this. What was the other one? Last breath. Listen to this. Trish Killian said, write me a song called Last Breath. So I wrote this. You can't keep a good run down. good man down. No, I'll fight you with my last breath. That's a powerful message right there. You can't keep a good man down. Oh, goodness. Bridget's seeing it all. I'll fight you with my last breath. I got to edit that song down, guys, because you can't keep a good man down. I'll fight you with my last breath. And you need to take on that mission. You can't take a good woman. You can't keep a good woman down. I'll fight you with my last breath. You can't keep a good soul down. I'll fight you with my last breath. And you have to be willing to fight with that last breath, guys. This, to me, is 5 years in a row of fighting with my last breath. Because there's been millions of these, 1,842 days in a row. There's been way too many days to count where I finish the show and I'm like, I'm done. I can't do it again. No one's fucking showing up. Why? What am I going to do it again tomorrow for? Like, I can't gather steam. Another great song tonight no one's going to hear. Like, you know how many times I finish my show and I'm like, I wrote 3 songs tonight that are going to change the world, but no one's going to hear it, so it's going to change nothing. And there's 209 songs on iTunes that can make a difference in someone's life, but they hide them from you. There's 5 years in a row of daily connection that they've hidden from you. And it's baffling to me, and it pisses me off, and it gets me to want to quit so often, and then I just keep coming back anyway. Because my happiness is tied to expression, I realized. I have to fully express myself. So even though I get frustrated, I'll think to myself, okay, great, 8 people, 4 people, 6 people, but I still have to express myself. I got to get that piece of creation out there again today. And so I keep going, but I don't know if anybody has, I don't even know how I'm able to. I don't think I'm like anybody else on earth, because everybody else would have quit by now. Everybody. I've seen so many people their shows are successful and they still can't do a daily show. My show's not, and I still do it every fucking day. And so that's crazy. That's just crazy. It speaks to either an insanity or a true mission from God. You have to decide which one it is. This guy's insane, I'm not coming back. Or you're like, yeah, this guy's coming back, and I'm here, one of 8 or 9 people, and he's coming back? Like what? After 1,842 days in a row? Yeah, I'll be there for that. You have to decide, why am I here? Why am I in this timeline right now when everything's falling apart and I'm the only guy who's been here every day since December 31st, 2018, and you can't find him? That should be everything you need to know about this channel. It should be everything you need to know about life right now. They will hide you from the things that can bring you forward. They want you to stay stunted. They want to keep you in their pocket, keep you under control while they destroy everything else that's going on around you. And I'm just like, why am I and I'm not the only one saying it. Millions of people out there, millions of streamers are out there speaking like me. Just a lot of them were able to get out before they were suppressed. They were out there already, and then they tried to reel them in. Oh, I used to have a lot of views on X, and now I'm not getting it. I never had views on X. So it doesn't matter. For me, they just kept me in the hole. Some people, they brought them back and they limited them afterwards, but they were already out there, already had the following, already had people that were looking forward to seeing them the next day. Me, I think when I did that Donald Trump show, unfortunately, I thought it's the best thing I've ever done. It's so funny. But parody and satire seem to piss off the people in charge because I hit too close to the truth. And they put me into this deep, dark hole that I can never get out of. And so it's really weird. It's really weird because we're starting to grow on the channel, but even those people that are subscribing don't know about my live show. Like, YouTube doesn't let people know I'm on the air. It's like, and then if you contact YouTube about it, they're like, oh, everything looks good on our side. I'm like, how? 13,000 plus subscribers. I put out a piece of content and get 50 views, 60 views. How? How does this make sense? Well, people have to interact with your content, Mark. That means they don't like your content. Like, they'll literally say stuff to you. Like, look, people aren't interacting. They just don't like your shit. I'm like, wait, but you're not showing it to people. How could you say, if I have 13,000, let's call it 13,600. We're about to go to 13,700. 13,500, let's call it, people that are subscribed to my channel. How can you say that, oh, people need to interact with your content more, Mark, and then we'll show it to more people? You're not even showing it to the 13,005. You're showing it to 50 people, 60 people in my 13,000 subscribers. And then you say that's normal. It's not normal. because I see everybody else who's got 1,000 subscribers or 1,500 subscribers, and they'll get hundreds of views for their content. Hundreds. How? How do the numbers work? I'd love to know. Well, you pissed us off at some point, Mark. And because of that, we're just going to keep you suppressed forever. Good luck putting out a new feature film. Good luck putting out a new song, writing new songs in the moment, inspiring people to greatness. Fuck you. We're never going to let anybody find it. That's the truth. That's the reality of it. Helen said, Mark, don't feel that way. You still have us that still come back every day. YouTube and the others want you and everyone else that goes against their political thinking to lose your willingness to go on. So true. So true. Modoc says, we're all being suppressed, brother. I have a similar story. DM said, you definitely cheer me up. Stay positive, brother. I will, my brother. I really appreciate you. Yeah, I do my best, guys. It's tough. I can honestly say, like, it's going to change. Like, when I start seeing I'm live and there's 50 people or 100 people on with me, but I can't even break 20 when I'm on the air. And like, that's freaking mental, you know? But when I start to see hundreds, 200, 300 people, the amount of positivity that this show is going to experience at all times, because I won't have any negativity beating away at me. Like, it's a weird thing when you write something that's like this is pretty crazy. Listen. I mean, we just get all kinds of crazy in this with the music on this show. But when a piece of music is created, and I'm like, okay, I'll release that. Like Frequency and Vibration, one of the best songs I wrote in the last couple months. It's a song about the healing energy that's coming at you. Everything I write's at 432 hertz. And so I'm writing these songs with the intention of healing you in the moment. And then I write this song called Frequency and Vibration. And it's literally telling you about how you're being healed. There's 136 views on that song. 130. It's a fire song. It's so good. But 136 views. That's what YouTube has shared with people. I shared it with a few people yesterday. That's the only reason I know. I'm like, 130? How? That song is so good. But I realize it's like when you do something that's powerful, they either want to hide it more or whatever. I'm going to give you the link to Frequency and Vibration just so you guys can hear this. And look, you may say, music probably sucks, Mark. Let me play it for you, okay? Because I want you to tell me if this sucks or not. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Maybe this is a song no one can feel the healing energy of. You tell me.
This year, take charge of your health with Centrum.
You did it!
I won't play the whole thing, but just hear the vibe here. Frequency, vibration, lift them up a level. Yep, that's what we got to do to keep them on the level. Yeah, keep them going higher and higher. Yeah, frequency and vibration, 432 hertz. Keep them lifting higher and higher. Yeah. The frequency and vibration. Yeah. You lift them higher and higher. Yeah. With the frequency and vibration, yes. With the frequency and vibration. This brings a peace to me. I don't know about you guys.
Lift 'em up with frequency and vibration. Lift 'em up. Frequency and vibration. We got to lift each other up while we still got time, yeah. The frequency and vibration, yes. It's on you and me, yes it is. There's no vacation, no. We've been living in it. We got to break our way. The frequency and vibration, yes. We lift them up. With the frequency and vibration every day. The frequency and vibration.
There's some fire right here.
frequency and vibration. We lift them up, lift them up, lift them up. Frequency and vibration. We lift them up, we lift them higher. The frequency and vibration. Lift them up, the frequency and vibration. We lift them up with the frequency and vibration. Lift them up with the frequency and vibration. With the frequency and vibration.
Thank you for watching that. I wrote that song live about 3 months ago. I just want to peg on something real quick so you understand. In that moment when I wrote that song, God was present with you and me. I don't write these songs with a pen before I arrive on the show. I take out the guitar, I take out this BeatSeat that I invented, and someone writes words in the chat. That day, Wolf, I believe it was, wrote frequency and vibration in the chat. So I wrote that song live in the moment. The vocals, the looping, the guitars, everything happens live here. There is no pre-recording. This is pre-recorded because I wrote it last night. But I started with nothing. Started with a riff, and then we add the bass, then we add the BeatSeat, then we add the steel drums or whatever else that my guitar synthesizer decides to be created in the moment, or what comes out of the moment. But the more important detail is the words that you're hearing, the intention. That is the moment speaking to you. And if you've been a part of this show, you understand that we are a part of a moment. We don't experience the past. We don't experience future. We experience one moment for our entirety. There is nothing else. And within this moment that we are in right now, with Bridget and with Kill It and Grill It and Helen, God is with us. Because God is present when two or more are gathered in the moment. That verse was intended to be when two or more are gathered in the moment, I am with them. Because what God was trying to say to every soul is, guys, there's only one moment and I am there. There's only one moment. That's why with the Martin Luther King thing yesterday, when I did the speech, I read the entire speech for you. If you want, it's so passionate, such a beautiful speech. But I realized he would be so offended with the world today because he wanted us to hold hands and move forward together in this moment. We can't change the stains of the past, but we don't want to create new stains today. If you're out there and you're pushing a message of division, if you're out there pushing hate right now, you are the creator of stains in this moment that will be looked back upon in future dates, and people will be questioning it and still holding on to that and saying, see, look how racist we were. Look how much hatred was in that moment. If we don't understand that the only way forward is to make peace with the past, and then realize we're in a second. That's it. It's 1 second that never stops. That's the hardest thing to center yourself on, is this second. Because God is there. And that's why the devil works so hard to keep you distracted from it. I know people are like, oh, God and the devil aren't real. Yes, they are. Absolutely. I know God's real because he's with me every single time I'm live. I don't have a script. I show up here and I allow myself to connect with the most amazing energy on planet Earth or in the universe. And together we do it. These songs come out of the moment. And the people that are here with me while I'm writing these songs, I often wonder, I do want to have a conversation like with S. Coop or Trish or Hilly, my brother in the house, or Helen even. Like, what are you feeling when you know I'm literally writing something live in the moment for you, and every word, every note is being expressed by the creator, essentially? Because I allow myself to go. I just don't even think. I allow my mind to be free of thought, and I allow the notes to just present themselves to me. On the guitar, my vocals, everything I sing to you, I heard the notes and I heard the words right before I sang them. I didn't think about it in advance, but I am a little bit ahead of you guys because I'm singing something and I'm already thinking of the next thing. That's how improvisation works. But anything you ever hear here on this show, it happened in the moment with the creator. And I think that's probably why they don't want you to find it, because it's the purest of energies. Like frequency and vibration, I was sitting there watching it here, and I appreciate you guys on TikTok allowing me. They were probably like, what's this dude doing? Staring at? What's he staring at? I was watching frequency and vibration. I was playing it for everybody on YouTube. And I'm sitting here and I'm just trying to not think that it's me. I'm just listening to the song for what it is. And if it wasn't my music and I had that on in my car, I would be pushing that on replay over and over because the energy I'm feeling. And then it gets back to the 432. 440 is the standard tuning for all instruments. If you go buy a tuner or guitar tuner right now, it will come to you at 440. You can adjust it. People don't. I didn't for 20 years. For 20 years, I was sitting here playing at 440. It wasn't until I learned that that was instituted by the Germans, by the Nazis, actually, because they understood the psychological effects of 440 hertz and that it messes with human beings. It's not a good frequency for us to feel or hear. It may sound good when you're listening to Taylor Swift at 440, but there's something going on inside of you that's actually not good. But 432 hertz, if you go to the ancient pyramids and you go into the Grand Pyramid or whatever they call it, the frequency in that building is 432 hertz. Why? Why? The Egyptians knew so much more than we do. We still don't even know how did they do what they did? How did they put these pyramids together? How do they bury people and their skin is still intact thousands of years later? The mummification process, we still don't understand. These people were geniuses, okay? And they built this pyramid so when you're inside and you're praying or whatever it is, you can create a tone and it hits you at 432 hertz. So I think that's so powerful. And sorry, someone's calling. I think that's so powerful when you understand it. And so what I did is I changed all of my guitars. Everything's 432 hertz. So every single time I take this guitar out and I play for you, you're getting 432 hertz. You're getting the cleanest and purest of energies coming at you. And that's all I can say. I don't know what I'm playing. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know if you're going to like it. But it should be pleasing because it's at 432 hertz. And so now if you go to iTunes and you type in Mark Pires and Spotify, you can listen to me for free. There's 209 songs on Spotify under Mark Pires. Now you could guarantee that about 175 of those songs, 170 of those songs are all at 432 hertz. Maybe the first two albums were at 440 because I didn't know about it at the time. So the music there is transcendence because we were talking about society in a lot of these songs. That's why they hid all these messages from you. God wanted you to know what was going on to you. That's the best way I can explain it. If you go and you type in Mark Pires and go push play on Spotify, almost all the messages there, you're going to say, there was something I needed to hear here. And why? Why was that message coming through this song? Stop the hate, masked up. All these amazing compositions that are on Spotify were created live in the moment with the creator of everything in this very second here. And so when you go back and you hear the messaging that he was trying to tell you, it's all powerful stuff, guys. It's all powerful stuff. And I can't even tell you the depths of it because there's 209 songs. I don't know if you guys realize how many songs that is. That's ridiculous. Most people don't put out 20 or 30 songs in their life. I'm at 209 so far. And they're all written live here. So I can't wait to see what we do next. I can't wait to get another album. I got to get it out for you this week. I keep doing that. I'm like, I'm going to put it out soon. Let's just do it this week. I'll put out my new album. I got so many songs to release. So, but what I would say is come back tonight because we're going to write another song. We're going to connect. We're going to talk it out. And if you have any questions, this is intended to be a call-in show too, so you guys can give me a ring tonight. The number will be on the screen. I think it's 203-903-2255. So let's chat later on when I come back on the air. But I appreciate you guys being here at TikTok. If you guys can head over to YouTube and subscribe, I really appreciate that. This is where the show's been live for 5 years in a row every single day, 1,842 days in a row of live creation and connection. My goal is to keep creating. Hopefully I'll keep creating. But more importantly is a chat where we could connect every day and get away from the world for an hour. And that's powerful, especially because no one can control that chat. That's your chat. So you should be there right now with MODOK and Kill It and Grill It and Will. And you should really understand that, the fact that Bridget found this show today, this is the start of something, guys. Because Bridget's going to go out and tell some of her friends to join us, and Will, and everybody else is going to bring their family and friends. And remember, it's like the same thing I tell people in real estate. If I sell you a house and we had a good experience together, please tell everybody you know, because if you liked me, your friends are going to like me because your friends like you, right? And you guys all hang out together. So I think the best bet is to introduce your friends to people that you like. So same thing here. If you like the show, tell people you know about it. It is every day forever. You got to go away. Until later, of course. This is a song I wrote maybe a couple hundred days into the show. It's a ghost story I wrote. Crazy. This is another example. I wrote a full ghost story called You Gotta Go Away. And that's on the iTunes and Spotify as well. They're all there. So many ridiculous things, guys. We've written songs for every single cause. I wrote the LGBTQ anthem. Someone asked me to do it. And I think it's probably the best song in the world for that community. I don't know how you get it to them, but they should be listening to that. It's about letting people be with who they want, because I want to see you smile. Powerful song. So check that one out. And like I said, if you see something or hear something that you haven't found on iTunes or Spotify, just shoot a little message, a comment on the shows, because if you go back through my 1,843 days in a row, there's roughly 1,200 songs that I wrote. Roughly, may even be more. Some days I wrote 3 or 4 songs the night. Some nights like today I didn't write anything. So it all depends on if I take that guitar out. But typically, if I take that guitar out, there's at least one song created live in the moment that I didn't get to because I'm all alone in the studio. So one day, maybe I'll get lucky and we'll have editors who are like, Mark, great show. We're going to go through and pull out all the good stuff. And we have 50 pieces of content to drop tomorrow, you know? But for now, I'm finishing up this stream and I'm going to go and try to make some real estate contacts. I got to buy and sell real estate for somebody today. This is a tough business, guys. I told you yesterday, you got to recreate yourself after every transaction. And right now I'm trying to recreate myself to get new clients. Like, it's 2024 and I don't have enough buyers. I don't have new listings. And I'm like, this is not good. Like, I got to get a ton of new listings. I got to get a ton of new clients. And so I'm at the recreation stage right now. And that's why it would be ideal if we could somehow generate something with this show while I'm in the process of trying to pull in new clients. But outside of that, if you are a buyer or a seller of real estate, reach out to me. My services are free of charge to buyers. I don't know if anybody realizes this, but when you buy a house, the seller pays the commission. So take advantage of that. Whether it's me or somebody else who's adding real value for you, use them because you pay nothing for that service. And if you are someone who's looking to buy, just shoot me a DM. It's mp@markpires.com, and I can contact the local office and find you someone to interview. If you don't like them, you don't use them. But if you use them, it costs you nothing. It's just like as if you called 5 offices to hire someone right now. It's the same thing. It's just me doing a little research for you to find you the best agent. So it costs you nothing. It allows you one more person to interview. And if you use them and they sell the property or buy a property with you, they're going to send me a small referral fee, which helps. It really does. And if I get enough of those together, it would be massive for this show if we were just sending referrals out to different parts of the country to people like I did for Modoc, my brother. So I appreciate you guys keeping me in mind. Whenever you think of anything real estate related, whether it's a question or you need assistance, just reach out to me and see if I could help. I don't mind. It's actually why I started the show. I started the show to try to make contacts with people on the other side of the screen who need real estate assistance. It just morphed very quickly into a positivity and connection show that is revolved around live creation. So, you know, and then that's been like that for 5+ years. So I am very much excited and interested in doing anything you guys want. I told you that before. So if you have questions or if you want me to create a specific type of content, do a specific news story for you, just let me know. I'm happy to do it. Right now I got 2 of them to do for Gianluca, who called the other day, one on the Esseans and one on the Dead Sea Scrolls for Chasing History, my new show here on the channel. So if you guys like the Chasing History show, we've done the Battle of Gilgamesh or the Epic of Gilgamesh, and we did one more. What was the other one I did? I did another one just the other day. Let me see real quick. I dropped so much content, I never really remember what it is. Oh, the U.S. forces attack on Houthi. That was sort of, it wasn't a Chasing History thing, but let's see what we have here. Chasing History, the Tale of Gilgamesh. I think that's the first one, really. So anyway, guys, I'm going to keep doing news stories for you. I've been doing this thing with like the video going on behind me, but I realized it may be a little too much. So what I want to try to do is more of like a talk show, you know, like nighttime talk show type of vibe where you see all of that stuff, but it's like encased in like a framed image, like a picture in the corner next to me. So while I'm reading the story, you see my regular background, and then you have like a little 16:9 box next to me with my logo above it. It says Mark Inspires, and in that box you see all these videos that are playing while I'm telling the story. I think that's a little bit more like what you see on TV, so I'm going to try to make it as accurate as possible to what you're used to seeing, instead of just huge image behind me and I'm in this corner. I realize I'm like, that's not really what people expect. People expect me sitting at a desk and I'm telling the news story right over my, you know, over my shoulder here is the box with the video. So I'm going to try to see if I can work on that today. I'll get a news story together at some point today for you. But I appreciate you guys. Bridget Rapp, I'm so happy you made it over to the YouTube channel. We got nothing but love for you, girl. And Helen Gail Townsend, thank you for the positivity and for inspiring me to forget about the negativity of the time and keep doing what I do here. Keep showing up and trying to lift everybody up a level. Hilly Billy, that's my buddy. Guys, if you have not subscribed to Hilly Billy, please do so. He's awesome. He reads the Bible and he lifts people up. And we got to get Hilly on to talk about my 1775 Bible. We tried to set it up one day and it didn't work out. But we're going to do it. I got to do it through Zoom, I think, or just pick up a phone call and get him on the air. So we'll figure that out. But I want to start doing Super Crew TV. How are you, my friend? This is Dallas from YouTube. Good to see you, buddy. I'm so glad you're here. I'm planning on doing this thing where I interview everybody and anybody. You know what I mean? So if Super Crew wants to come on and have a chat, I'll do that. Hilly Billy wants to come on and talk about his faith or about maybe a couple passages in the book that I got wrong. Love to do that. And the goal for 2024 is to not just be here alone daily doing the live creation. Is to do that, but also to have an interview, like at least one a week. I want to have an interview. So if you guys have anybody you want to see me interview, send them my way or let them know to reach out to me. I'll have them on anytime and I'll prepare, ask a few questions, and then the rest of it will be just free flowing, this moment taking us somewhere. We had Flat Earth Dave on here. We had Dr. Richard M. Fleming for 16 hours. Miriam Hanane came on for 5 or 6 episodes. And each time it was a free-flowing experience. Ryan Hartwig came on 3 times. He's a Facebook whistleblower. But I just haven't had a lot of interviews. So I would love to do more. Please let me know if anybody out there wants to be on the show. I'll have them on. Oh, thank you, Bridget. Oh, cool. Super Crew said, my friend Joy wants to learn more from you in the 1775 Bible. You know what I'll do tonight, Super Crew? I'll bring the Bible back out tonight. It's always sitting right next to me. If you're on YouTube, you could see it. It's always right next to me. So tonight I'll bring it out. I think we could use a few verses, actually. It's almost important for us to read a verse or two on a daily basis because the world is so destructive and evil at the moment that maybe we could just generate something with a few passages from the 1775 Bible. I do know people out there are very interested in the 1775 Bible. Please join us on YouTube to see that Bible. But remember, that Bible brought you to the more important thing, which is the show they never want you to find, the show that's live every day forever and here in the moment where God is. And that doesn't mean I have a connection to God that you don't. We all have that connection. You just have to be able to get to the moment where he is. And this is a show that specializes in getting to the moment. So that's the one thing I can say. After 5 years in a row, every day, showing up without a script, I am here and present. And within that, we know the Creator is there too. So we specialize in connecting in the moment with the Creator of everything. And this is why after 5 years in a row, they are terrified you're going to find this show. They're not terrified you're going to find the 1775 Bible secrets. They're like, whatever, they're secrets. Yeah, okay, we held it from. They don't want you to find the one guy who's figured out how to connect to the Creator. That's the thing they fear most. So join me later when we do it again. Hilly, my brother, thank you for sharing your link, guys. Yeah, give Hilly a subscribe. Sincerely, Renee, thank you so much for being here. You guys are awesome. Let's see, I'm going to pop this up. Do we have any participants that I can say hello to? Okay, here we go. Bridget Rapp, Hilly Billy, my brother, Kill It and Grill It, Modoc Roughstock, Sincerely Renee, you're amazing. Super Crew TV, you are amazing. Will, you know you're amazing. You guys are all amazing. Taking Mark Pires' money advisory class. Yeah, I think that for me, it's if you need any assistance in real estate, that's how I can help. I would never, and this is funny, I was talking about, I was going to come out here and do this little bit about real estate and do like a wanted. Like wanted, I'm looking for, like, you know, when people like they're wanted, they want something that's usually like, it's different than I was thinking about this. I was like, wanted, sellers and buyers looking for an agent that will do anything no one else will do, or something weird where it's like this concept of wanted, sellers and buyers, instead of the other way around where people are like wanted, I need a real estate agent. It's like, no, I want sellers and I want buyers who are looking for an agent that will hustle, that's going to differentiate themselves from the rest of the marketplace and is going to negotiate their tail off for you. And then like follow up that with like, do you need any assistance, you know? And I was like, I'll put my suit on for this and it'll just be this whole cool thing about flipping the wanted thing. Instead of wanted something that I need sellers and buyers to realize there's an agent that will do something different, think a little differently. And yes, please do that, Hilly. Send over your number. So I think I have to do something creative on the real estate side so people understand that there is a way not only to find the best agent, but also somebody who's going to be a friend in the process. People do this because they're trying to make a living. But when I started this show, this affecting a positive change one person at a time, it's my motto. But it was kind of already my motto because I'm working with families and selling them homes. And so I was affecting a positive change one family at a time is the way that my life had been up until I started the show. When I started this show here, though, the intention has always been to affect a positive change one person at a time. So when I see Bridget rap here, when I see Sincerely Renee, when I look up and I see Super Crew TV, that is us accomplishing the mission, connecting with someone new every day. And so help me do that. Guys, I'll be back. I'll continue to show up and be as much of a light as possible in a dark world. And if you're interested in that, subscribe to the YouTube channel, just like Bridget just did. Woo! I will be back later, fam and friends. Probably 7, 8 o'clock. I'm trying to get on earlier. If you guys have anything you want me to discuss or play later, I can play covers for you as well on the BeatSeat. Leave a comment after the show, and I appreciate you. Bridget, Hilly Billy, Kill It and Grill It, Modoc Roughstock, Sincerely Renee, and Will. Have yourself an awesome day. I don't know if it's snowing still. I have no idea. Where's my outro? My stream deck's not working for some reason, so I'm pushing buttons today. Where's the outro? Can't find it. There it is. So, I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be dropping stuff here on YouTube and on TikTok, Clapper today as well, so make sure you stay tuned. Until then, you got to go away, yeah. DM, you rock, buddy. See you guys later today. You got to go away, yeah.